Skål Vikings, let's win this game. Skål Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, make it a touchdown. Rock 'em, suck 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Can't Kick the Habit podcast, where today we will be breaking down one of the craziest games of the year, if not one of the craziest games of this new decade. The Minnesota Vikings, the 7-1 Minnesota fraud Vikings, defeat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. We're going to break down the entire situation because this game was insane. And I usually don't post on Sundays, but I have to get this out because this was insane. Minnesota goes to Buffalo needing a decisive win against a really good team to cement themselves as a good team moving forward. And this was their chance to do it against Buffalo. People have been saying they're not a real 7-1 teams. They've only played one really good team. That was the Eagles, and that was the game they lost. Their other 7 wins were against below average teams not playing to their potential. And the Vikings knew that coming in. They knew they needed a decisive win against a good team, and they got it. And boy, was this a crazy game. We're going to break down everything. Buffalo coming off a harsh loss against the New York Jets, in which a game where Josh Allen did not look great. Reports came out that he had injured his elbow coming into this game, or last week against the Jets, he injured it. Nobody knew if he was going to play or not. He comes out, and he looked great. He looked like the elbow was not bothering him. After the game, he said that a reporter asked, did your injury have an effect on the game you played? He said it absolutely did not. So he looked fine. And if the Vikings played the Bills without Josh Allen and they won, the Vikings would still be called these frauds, or whatever you want to call them. But Josh Allen plays, and the Vikings get it done. Crazy game. First quarter, this stadium was rocking. But the Vikings coming out in what they do best, score a touchdown on the first drive of the game. Kirk Cousins throws a deep shot to Justin Jefferson for 22 yards on third down for a touchdown. But the Bills respond, and the Bills taking a lesson from last week against the Jets, where they had no run game. They start running the ball, and they move down the field quickly. Singletary in for the touchdown, 5 yards. And this is where the Vikings have struggled this year. The only negative I can say about the Vikings in this game, and basically all year, is that from the first drive on, or after the first drive, they have nothing to show for quarters even. Like a few drives, they don't score, or even like the next 2 quarters, they have nothing. And the Vikings punt, and the Bills keep moving. Another rushing touchdown for Singletary. And it looks like at this point, it looked like the Vikings could stay in it, but Bills have scored 2 touchdowns. They're driving this third one, and it just looks like. Oh, and this is right after the Bills kick it off, and then Kirk Cousins throws a bad interception to the Bills. And at this point, it looks like the game, if the Bills keep rolling, they're just going to keep rolling and win this game. But the Vikings get a huge stop, forcing the Bills to kick a field goal, kind of slowing the momentum a little bit. If this ends up being a touchdown, they go down 21-7. This is a much harder game to come back from. Second quarter, Vikings start driving, and they have to settle for a field goal, which makes it 17-10. And then this is kind of where the Vikings got a little momentum. The Bills are driving, and they fumbled football towards the end of the second half. Devin Singletary. This was it was a on the field call, a fumble, and it was super hard to overturn. So the Vikings kept the ball, and they drove, and they drove until they got to fourth down, and they went for it, and they couldn't get it. Gave it back to the Bills, and the Bills said, "Yeah, I'm gonna take that ball. I'm gonna go score a touchdown," and they do. They drive down the field, and Josh Allen throws a pass to Gabe Davis for a touchdown. And the Vikings get the ball back with a little time left, and they have to punt, and it looked rough for the Vikings in the first half. A little rougher than they wanted it to be. At the end of the first half, they're down a substantial amount of points, but we've seen them come back in games prior, and this is what they seem to do. I don't like it that much moving forward. I think they need to get it going in the second quarter more, but if it's working, it's working, I guess. So third quarter, Kirk Cousins throws a pick, not good. And then, but Buffalo gets it back, and the Vikings defense, they hold. Holding penalty on the Bills, no play, and they take a sack, and they're forced to punt. The Vikings get it back, they're forced to punt. Bills drive, they kick a field goal. And then this is kind of where the Vikings, this was a major, major turning point in this game. A one-play touchdown for Dalvin Cook, 81 yards. And this made it a one-score game. Yeah, so at the end of halftime, it was 24-10 Bills. Vikings come out in the third quarter. That huge run for Dalvin Cook set this game up for the fourth quarter for the Vikings to make a comeback. That was the huge turning point in this game. And then, but I mean, hey, the Bills are the Bills, and they're gonna keep playing. They drive down the field within minutes, and they get it. I mean, it's 24-17 at this point. And no, it's 27. Yeah, 27-17. So they're up 10. And they drive down the field. They're in the red zone, and it's fourth down. I think it was 4th and 2. And they decide not to kick a field goal. They decide to try to put this game away. And Josh Allen rolls right. It's 4th and 2. He's got to throw it. And he throws a pick to Patrick Peterson in the end zone. Peterson runs back about 30 or 40 yards, sets up the Viking for great field position. And that was also a major turning point in this game, that pick by Pat P. If the Bills score that touchdown, the game is likely over for the Vikings. I mean, you can come back a bunt. You can score a lot of points in the fourth quarter, but it'd be too late. But the Vikings get another spurt of life. And they go down and they score a touchdown with C.J. Ham, a little fake reverse, and they just give it to the fullback, and he runs in 3 yards for the touchdown. And so the Bills get the ball back, and they force to punt. 6 plays, no yards, they punt. And this is where the Vikings, they have their shot. They're down 1 score. Or no, they're down 2 scores. And they turn it over on downs. And this is where it starts to get really crazy, because it's 4th down and they turn it over on downs. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, so touchdown CJ Ham, and that was with like 4 minutes to go in the game. So this is where it starts to get crazy. If I can score a touchdown, they're down, and they missed the extra point on this touchdown. So they're down 4. It's 27-23. They're down 4. If Greg Joseph nails the extra point, they're down 3. They get the ball back. They kick a field goal. They go into overtime. But Greg Joseph misses the extra point, hits the upright, and now you're thinking, oh no, as a Vikings fan, you're thinking, how many times is this going to happen that the kicker botches the game for the team? But they're down 4. Defense goes out, is stout. 6 plays for the Bills, no yards. With 2 minutes and 37 seconds left, the Vikings get the ball back. And this was one of the craziest drives ever. Vikings get a first down. They take a sack, 3-yard sack. They throw an incomplete pass. They take another sack. It is now 4th and 18. And if you haven't seen this catch yet from Justin Jefferson, I highly recommend you go to YouTube and look up Justin Jefferson catch, because what in the world? It's 4th and 18. Kirk Cousins is getting hit as he throws it, just lobs it up for Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson goes up with his right hand, extends. The ball is put right in his right hand, but the defensive back for the Bills has two hands around it behind him. And Justin Jefferson is falling backwards. As the ball's behind him, he keeps the ball off the ground and curls it into his body with his right hand. It is the most insane catch on 4th and 18. This play kept the Vikings' dreams alive of beating the Bills. That play right there, 4th and 18 heave from Kirk Cousins. The most insane play I've ever seen in my entire life. Probably better than the Odell catch. Maybe I'm just being a little crazy, but it's up there. One of the best catches of all time. Then they start driving. They start getting a little momentum going. But this is where the Vikings struggled this game, inside the 5-yard line. They 1st and 3 at the Buffalo 3. Kirk Cousins throws an incomplete pass. And, a penalty and an incomplete pass, which leads it. They're now 4th and 1 at the Buffalo 1. And Kirk Cousins goes for the quarterback sneak, and he doesn't get it. And everybody in Minnesota is stunned. It's 4th and 1. You have Dalvin Cook, you have Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. They're at the 1-yard line. Great call for the quarterback sneak, because I don't know if you guys listened to the New Heights podcast with Jason Kelsey, but he was stunned that more teams don't run a quarterback sneak on 4th and 1, because it's got some crazy success number. But the Vikings don't get it. It's 4th and 1. There's like 40 seconds left. The game's over. All the Bills have to do is just move the ball half a yard out of the end zone, and the Vikings they're doomed. And this is where it gets crazy. The game's over for the Vikings. The Bills are going to win by 4 points, and the ball's at the half-yard line. And the defense for the Bills is hyped because they just won the game for the Bills, but they got to get this snap off. And Josh Allen fumbles the ball at the goal line. The ball lands like a foot to his left. He's moving to the right. He can't fall on it. And Hendricks is on the line of scrimmage and sees the football and is like, oh, I'm just going to fall on that. Falls on that football. Everybody's going nuts because nobody can see anything because there's 1,000 bodies in the way. And the refs come in and move everybody out of the way. And Hendricks is at the goal line with the football in his arms. And it is ruled a touchdown for Minnesota. And everybody goes nuts because the Bills had this game won. You'll see that coming up time and time again. Both teams had this game won multiple times. And this is an instance where the Bills had it. All Josh Allen needs to do is just move 2 feet forward, and he's won the game from the Bills. He fumbles it at the goal line. Hendricks scores a touchdown. Defense scores a touchdown. They go up 2, and Greg Joseph has to come out and kick a game-tying extra point. He gets it done. He had a little trouble before missing that extra point, but he comes out and gets it done. And at this point, the Vikings have the game won with 40 seconds, no timeouts, and the Bills need a field goal. You think maybe the Bills come back. They have no timeouts, though, so they can't do what Kansas City did last year against them and just heave it 2 times down the middle and call timeouts. They don't have any timeouts. So you're thinking at this point, the Vikings have the game won. Nope. The Bills drive the field with 40 seconds. They get out of bounds every play. However, there was one play to Gabe Davis for 20 yards where at this point, they don't have much time left, so they got to hustle up and get down and hike the ball. But Gabe Davis, they rolled a catch on the field, but replay shows that he did not have control of the football, and that's where people upstairs have got to signal it in that they're going to review this because this should not have been a catch. They don't get it down in time. The people upstairs don't call it in time, and the Bills keep moving, and they keep moving. They drive, and Josh Allen, it's an incomplete pass at like the 7-yard line to Gabe Davis. It's a PI call in Minnesota, but there's like 5 seconds left. So the Bills take the points 30-30, And the game is now tied going into overtime. So both teams have had two major chances to win this game, and both teams can't get it done. And it's the end of the fourth quarter, and it goes into overtime. That would have been the craziest game of the year had either team won it at that point. But it gets even crazier. The Vikings get the ball first in overtime, and they just say, you know what, we're just going to run the football. Dalvin Cook, 10-yard run. Dalvin Cook, 9-yard run. And Justin Jefferson, time and time again, just is the man. He is him. Kirk Cousins passes it to Justin Jefferson, 13 yards. But this is where, in this situation, you just can't have a false start. You can't have any penalty because they're moving. And once you have that setback, it's just downhill from there. 5-yard penalty, false start. And then Bills get a sack. And it's 2nd and 22, and you're thinking, okay, just keep the ball. Just hold on to it. Maybe you'll get some magic, but try to hold on to the ball and not let anything dumb happen at the 50-yard line. Kirk Cousins just heaves it to Justin Jefferson because he's proven himself already this year. And it's a PI call on the Buffalo Bills defense, setting up a 1st and 10, and the Vikings do what they've done this entire drive. Dalvin Cook, 10-yard run. And at this point, if the run's working, why stop running it? Just keep running. But they choose to pass at the Buffalo 26, and it's an incomplete pass. Then it's a run for no gain. And then, I guess this is why you pass it, because Kirk Cousins, on 3rd and 10, chucks like a corner route to Justin Jefferson in between two guys, and Justin Jefferson catches it at the half-yard line. He is him. He is the guy. He should win like Offensive Player of the Year because this is insane. And they're at the Buffalo 2-yard line, 1st and goal. And at this point, just run up the gut, run straight, try to get positive yards, 1st and goal. But they try to run some like end around play with Dalvin Cook, and it doesn't work. 3 tackled for a loss. So it's 2nd and 5, and Kirk Cousins gets sacked and an incomplete pass. So it's 4th and 15. They got to kick a field goal. So they go up 33-30, and Josh Allen will get his chance to prove himself. If he hasn't already proven himself to be a winner in the past, he's got to prove it now because they're having a rough stretch of games. And I believe in games where it's 8 points or less that the Bills are in, one-score games, they're 2-9. Games above that, they're like undefeated. So they got to prove themselves in one-score games, and Josh Allen will get his chance. And on the last drive of the game, Josh Allen has 2 major runs, an 18-yard run, and then the second play is a 20-yard run. Both not designed runs for Josh Allen. But we know that even if Josh Allen's a little bit hurt, he's still going to play Josh Allen football. So he starts running it. And as a Vikings fan, you're getting a little nervous because Josh Allen can throw, Josh Allen can run. They have established a running game. And the Vikings had their shot at the 1-yard line against the Bills, and they couldn't get it done. And they start driving, and it's 1st and 10, and Josh Allen throws an incomplete pass, and there's about 1 minute left in the game. It's 1st and 10, so you don't have to do anything crazy. You're obviously in field goal range, but neither team is wanting the tie because this game was way too hard fought for a tie. And Josh Allen rolls right, and there's nothing is really open at this point. But he decides to chuck it, a zinger, right into the arms of Patrick Peterson, who intercepts Josh Allen, goes down on the ground, and the Vikings win the game. They move to 8-1. Just a crazy game all around. Both teams had opportunities to win this game far earlier, but this was just insane because the Vikings now have proven themselves to be a winning team, and not a fraud team, but a really good team at 8-1. And the Bills, who had the vision of the sky's the limit at the beginning of the year, who had this incredible team, can't seem to put the game away in one-possession games. They've lost to the Dolphins in a one-possession game this year. They lost to the Jets last week. They lost to the Vikings this week. They're now 6-3 and 3rd in the division. And Kirk Thuggins and the Minnesota Vikings get it done in Week 10 against the Buffalo Bills. Just a crazy overall game. And at this point, moving forward, if you're the Vikings, you've proven yourself time and time again, these comeback wins, and now you have a signature win against a really good team. You're obviously going to win the division. I mean, the Packers, Bears, and Lions are nowhere close to the Vikings. You're obviously going to win the division. Now it's just, okay, they have 3 more games coming up, which are going to be tough games. And you just look at this game, first quarter, the Vikings look pretty good. Fourth quarter and overtime, they look really good. That second quarter and the first half of the third quarter, they just don't have anything. That's been the thing for them all year. They got to get it going in the second quarter and coming out of the gates in the third quarter. That's really all the Vikings have to work on. They have the hot start and they have the really hot game finishes, the comebacks. So the Vikings got to work on that second quarter, but a great game for them, a great signature win. And for the Bills, I mean, I don't know what to say because they have the best team in the NFL, hands down. Not a record standpoint, but like top to bottom on the depth chart, their team is the best. And they're just not, I don't really know what to say. Josh Allen's playing great. They established the run game today. Defense is playing great. But just these costly errors that Josh Allen is making when the game's on the line. When the game's on the line, the Bills don't seem to have any idea. They can win when they're up by 15. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows when they get it going and they have a huge lead, they're going to win the game. But against the Miami Dolphins, Josh Allen threw a pass to Isaiah McKenzie. All he has to do is get out of bounds for them to kick a game-tying field goal, and he doesn't do that. He cuts upfield, and the clock runs out. The Bills lose that game. The Jets, Josh Allen throws 2 costly interceptions in the end zone. Or not in the end zone, but he throws 2 costly interceptions to lose the game. And today, they fumble at the goal line. Then they allowed this crazy Justin Jefferson catches all game long. And just the Bills can't get it done when they're in a close game. They just can't. And that's kind of that they've been hyped up all year long. But going back to last year against the Chiefs, that 1-score game where it was controversial because of the coin flip and overtime or whatever, and who gets the ball and who can't get the ball. But yeah, the Bills just look really bad in these 1-score games. They can obviously win the games where they're ahead by a bunch of points, but they can't seem to win the games where they're up by 1 score, down by 1 score. So if the Bills want to be in the playoffs this year, which right now they're not in the playoff picture because I believe the Dolphins are in first, Jets are in second, and they're in third in the division. So they're not in the playoffs right now. If the Bills want to, now their goal is to make the playoffs because right now they're not in it. If they want to make the playoffs this year, they got to win 1-score games. They got to do what the Vikings did from last year. Last year, the Vikings were 6-8 in 1-score games. Now they're 7-0. They're 7-0. They're undefeated. So, but this was a great game all around. Got to give credit to Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings staff and their entire team for this signature winning in Buffalo. Just a crazy game. Yeah, but thanks for listening. I'm trying to get this out before Sunday Night Football so you guys can give it a listen. But I just had to review this game immediately because, wow, probably the game of the year, honestly. But, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all those places. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my Week 1 review of the NFL. And let me know what you want to see in the future from these podcasts. Anything you want to see, anything you like, dislike, stuff like that. I would love to hear it in the comments. But I will see you guys later for my NFL Week 10 review. All right, peace.